Hello and welcome to the Tech Transform podcast, where we have a weekly conversation with people who are impacting the enterprise tech landscape. My name is Doug Laney. I'm the Data and Analytics Strategy Innovation Fellow with West Monroe Partners here in Chicago. Today, I'm joined by Vedat Akgun, VP of Data Science and AI, and Steve Anderson, Senior Director of Data Science and AI with Teradata. We're going to discuss trusted AI today. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
All right. The first question I want to ask is, how do you define trusted AI? I know this is a topic that's big for Teradata. And why do you feel it's essential for ensuring that AI and data-driven systems create value with transparency?
Sure. At Teradata, we believe trusted AI is the way that people, data, and AI work together with transparency to create value. This is a very crisp definition of trusted AI, and I would like to emphasize from value backwards. A value creation is vital for trusted AI. If results don't drive value, everything else is moot. And as an AI practitioner, as a career AI practitioner, getting AI to drive business value has been the most crucial thing for me. That is the endpoint that we want to achieve. And the value creation happens if you are able to innovatively solve a business problem or contribute solving a business problem or enhance that business problem solution and do it in a cost-effective way. If you are spending more money to implement an AI system than its cost, then there is no value. And the performance is really crucial because as an AI practitioner, whenever I went through an AI solution, it would require repetition, what if analysis, running different models, getting guardrails. So trying so many times, therefore the performance is really important. So in order to create value, those things should happen.
Are there certain principles that are part of this trusted AI concept?
Definitely. The value creation is really crucial, as I said. And under that, I just mentioned performance, innovation, and cost effectiveness being very important. But in order to get there, that means if you are able to provide value, you are able to gain the stakeholders' adoption and acceptance and achieve change management. And that can only happen with the transparency principle of trusted AI, meaning that your results are explainable. Stakeholders can understand why those results and where they are coming from. You have proper governance for the AI models. And also you provide a wide spectrum of tools and technologies and capabilities to AI practitioners because people like me, we don't want to be confined to a only single method. We want to have an open and connected ecosystem. We want to try different things. We want to leverage all possible technologies. That's why those are important components of the transparency principle. And in the center of all those things, the transparency and value creation is the people. People develop those models. People should have accountability in terms of, bias prevention, not using personally identifiable information, making sure that the organization's data is secure and privacy is protected. And in addition to all those, sustainability becomes a very important principle under people because as you consume resources, you incur cost and you may increase carbon footprint. So in developing those value-add AI solutions with transparency, you should consider long-term sustainability as well. And those are really crucial. Just to give the definition again, trusted AI is the way that people, data, and AI work together with transparency to create value. And that's why at Teradata, we have 6 of the top 6 airlines, 6 of the top 6 banks, 5 of the top 5 healthcare providers, and 5 of the top 6 telecommunication companies. our longtime customers. That demonstrates how trusted we are and we can provide those capabilities.
Yeah, that's quite impressive. All right, let's move on to another question here. What key challenges do you find companies experience when striving to build trust in AI?
Yeah, good question. We did some research by partnering with a company named Newton X to do some research on how senior leaders are responding to the challenges presented by artificial intelligence. One challenge is AI is done at the departmental level and not at the strategic level. 70% of executives say that their AI strategy isn't aligned to their business strategy. So when you think about that, if your AI initiatives are not aligned to your objectives, then you're not going to achieve those objectives. You're not going to reach those top line numbers that you want to reach.
Why do you think that there's a misalignment? I'm curious.
I think there's a misalignment because typically when you want to do a use case, it's within that department that someone comes up with that. Because most departments have budgets. You run and pay for something out of your budget and you implement it. And because of that, you may not be thinking about how that affects the company holistically in achieving the things, the strategic objectives that you want to achieve and affecting the KPIs that's important to the company. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Anything else? I imagine this creates a lot of siloed projects as well, right?
Yeah, it creates silo projects and also further data silos because these projects are also using and creating data. So you having further silos there. And when you have those silos, it kind of limits the impact and the scalability across the organization because you're not thinking about, hey, how can I implement things in a way that when it's time to do something else or when it's time to expand or when it's time to do it, another use case, that limits the scalability because you weren't thinking about those use cases at the time that you started doing your AI initiative. You were just thinking about the one thing that your department needed. So with that, I think that is a huge challenge. I got an analogy. Vedat and I, we play basketball. And with basketball, you have the ball and then you have a goal. And just think about trying to shoot that ball without the goal. If you shoot the ball without the goal, you're never going to hit the shot. And that's what some companies are doing today. They're not thinking about it from a strategic level and having the AI aligned to that goal. We were actually just playing basketball in San Diego, Vedat and I. So I thought of that on the fly.
Good fun. I hope she whipped you. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about data readiness as well as a challenge.
Yeah, with data readiness, you really have to be ready for the projects that you want to do. And before you get to a project, your data has to be ready from a standpoint of cleanliness, completeness, and everything that's needed. The right data platforms and so forth. In this same research, 40% of executives did not believe their company data was ready to achieve the outcomes, accurate outcomes specifically. And when you think about that, data is the most important part of any AI project. So if you have good data, an amazing model, now even if you have just a decent model and you got good data, then you have a really good AI project, AI initiative. But if you have data that's crappy and a very sophisticated model, then you got a horrible AI project. So having your data ready is very important when you're trying to strive for trusted AI.
All right, let me ask you another question. How does all this impact the ability to generate meaningful value? And I know that was a topic that you were interested in. I don't know if you want to cover that.
That's true. Based on the same research, we know that C-suite executives faces high expectations for rapid return on investments from AI, often within 6 months, and that is around 58% of the C-level executives expect results within 6 months and 84% within a year. That pressure for quick results can lead to rushed implementations. Focus on long-term strategic alignment and trust building takes a back seat. The challenge here is balancing the need for immediate returns with the patience required to build robust, trusted AI systems that deliver sustainable value over time. And the crucial thing, again, is the trust, because when things are rushed, and there may be unexpected results that may negatively impact the business or cannot gain the acceptance of stakeholders. And if the trust is lost, then the AI investments may not create value and the investments will not continue by the C level. So those are really crucial things.
Yeah, so these investments can really build on themselves, and if you mess up at the outset, the rest of the investments may not follow.
That's true.
All right, so let me ask another question here. Why is it essential to trust your data before building the AI capabilities? And I guess more I really want to get into what are some of the key risks to be aware of when preparing that data, and how can you mitigate those risks?
Yeah, good question, Doug. Yeah, trusting your data is the absolute most important thing to do before building trusted AI and AI systems. It's pretty much the foundation because the AI system rely on that data. If the data isn't accurate, or if it's not complete, or is it biased, those things are going to carry on and be inherited to the model that you're building. So your model outputs are going to have bias. It's going to have unwanted data and so forth. So there's risk here, especially from a generative AI perspective. You could have hallucination and get inaccurate outputs, bias, exposure to sensitive data because you have unwanted data that you trained it on, security vulnerabilities, copyright violations, and a lot of other ethical violations. And this could even go into poor decision making if you're using it internally at your company. So there's a lot of risk involved if you are not implementing trusted data. Trusting your data is absolutely necessary. It's a necessity. So I think that we should take the golden rule of spending most of your effort on the data side of the house when you are implementing any AI initiative. With your data and your data management, there's some other integral parts. You got to have good data lineage, data governance, data management, complete data, data security, data accessibility. All those are really important in creating AI systems that are transparent, accountable, that has minimal bias and maximum security. And all of this is managed with the Teradata platform. At Teradata, we emphasize these things through our trusted AI principles that Vedat was talking about earlier, helping organizations implement trusted AI to create value quickly. So all those things are really important to us from a data perspective because it all starts with trusted data.
Vedat, anything you'd like to add there?
Yeah, if I may add a few more things. We know that people thrive when empowered with trusted information, and trust accelerates opportunity. For decades, Teradata has helped the world's largest enterprises deliver trusted data to create immense business value. Customers entrust us with their most important mission critical work. We're honored to manage the most curated quality data within our customers' organizations, performing advanced analytics and AI that run at scale at the speed of business to drive breakthrough decisions, new business models, and ultimately profitability. At the foundation, the biggest challenge for delivering trusted AI is building the right data environment. Especially with generative AI, large language models are data starving for both structured and unstructured data. When mountains of data is left not managed, if they are not harmonized, and if they are not integrated efficiently at scale, biases and hallucinations may happen.
Yeah, no doubt. So we all know that Teradata has been at the forefront of data platforms for decades. So how does a robust data platform serve as a foundation for creating AI systems that can be trusted and be sustainable?
Sure. First of all, I said it before, I'll say it again. AI can only be trusted if its benefits exceed its costs, period. If the cost of training and deploying AI capabilities are left unchecked, AI may be dismissed before gaining the chance to convince decision makers of its value. But by prioritizing efficiency, focus, and financial transparency with AI implementation, return on investment can be quickly delivered, leading to organizational trust and support. Teradata recently commissioned a total economic impact study with Forrester Consulting, with a North American healthcare organization with $5 billion in annual revenue and over 25,000 employees. They looked at 3-year financial analysis, and the highlights of the benefits was that in less than 6 months, the company was able to achieve a 244% ROI by using Teradata Vantage Cloud and ClearScape Analytics, and also achieved $125 million profit from the models enabled by ClearScape Analytics. And with the thousands of large language models out there, if you go to Hugging Face, you will find hundreds of thousands of open source models. And some companies are building 350,000 GPU data centers. I call them, GPU farms. Sustainability becomes an important concern for AI infrastructure. And on the other side, when companies democratizes their data, empower thousands of employees to use Gen AI, they also have the risk of exponentially increase the carbon footprint due to usage and consumption. So not only we Teradata optimize the resource utilization, but also we provide carbon footprint calculator to our customers looking to reduce their carbon footprint.
That's really valuable to them.
Exactly. And, I haven't seen a lot of companies talking about potential carbon footprint and energy usage. Rather, they only talk about the benefits and benefits and benefits, but we need to be really conscious about the sustainability part. And that all goes back to the value creation again. When you are able to reduce cost and provide value, then AI works. And at Teradata, we also have an open analytics framework for efficient model training, and where enterprises can focus on creating medium or small language models based on the specific business problems that they are solving, keep those models within their firewalls, and achieve the benefits. At the same time, they will be, therefore, minimizing their cost and consumption. Steve, anything you would like to add?
Yeah, I just think that companies really need a robust data platform to deliver trusted AI with some of the things that you mentioned, Vedat. They need a platform that's high performing, highly scalable, open and connected, and built for trusted AI to create value. I used to work for Fortune 500 financial service companies. When I worked for those financial service companies, most of them had Teradata. And the one thing I always knew was if I wanted accurate, trusted data that's the source of truth and processed extremely fast and efficient, then I had to use our data from the Teradata platform. Because in most of these places, you have multiple systems that you can pull data from. But if you want trusted data, the source of truth, I hit Teradata because we have an open and connected ecosystem. So we were able to, break that down, those data silos with the Vantage products. There are seamless integrations with different products from other trusted partners, such as Microsoft, Google, and AWS. Almost everything you need to enable your predictive and your generative AI use cases.
Yeah, we're going to hear more about the partnership with AWS on the next podcast. So everyone should stay tuned.
Yeah. Stay tuned to that, everyone, because both Teradata and AWS is going to be on that podcast. So circle back to that. But essentially, having a platform where you can, what Vedat said, have the tool of your choice, bring your own models, give you the flexibility to do the Gen AI use case that would add value with the LLM of your choice. We also have OTF and Query Grid, which is our data fabric, which further enables data access, integration, and open connectivity. The easier it is and the more efficient it is to access your data and process it faster, allows you to tackle those data silos that we mentioned earlier in the podcast. This helps you get a complete look at your data, which move you closer to trusted AI. We also mentioned that it's very high performing with our massive parallel processing, which enable your predictor AI. And for generative AI, what Vedat said, you can bring your own model so you can implement the LLM or the Gen AI use case that you want to implement. So our platform, we put a lot of effort into giving places a data and analytics platform that can do trusted AI.
So, last question here. In the age of AI, what's new or different that really raises pronounced concerns about trust?
Let me take that, Doug. So it is really interesting that as Gen AI generates new text, image, or video, all those things, then that becomes also data that would be feeding or into the training of the large language models. So if left unchecked, there could be cases where AI could create reference data which may not be actually real. Those situations are very sensitive. Last year, I saw an article about plaintiff's attorney using ChatGPT to craft a motion for a legal brief for a lawsuit, and there was a 10-page brief that cited more than 6 court decisions supporting their client's argument. And however, defendants' lawyers couldn't locate those cases. And it turned out that those cases were not real. Apparently, the Gen AI system had created references to and invented new cases that did not exist. So, because large language models are unable to distinguish between truthful responses and ones that are completely fictitious, an ingenious AI user may not be aware when hallucinations have been generated. So this could create and pose a significant risk when the AI systems are being used for critical decision making. And for example, in financial applications, medical analysis, and diagnosis, transportation applications, or security. So therefore, bringing your own large language model and for the specific use case, determining what size that you need for addressing a specific business problem and using open source models within your firewalls on specific company data could resolve those specific challenges.
Yeah. So maybe Steve, back over to you. How does Teradata address these issues to ensure reliable AI and data solutions, especially in critical sectors like this?
Yeah, our platform has features and capabilities to assist companies to address the issues that Vedat mentioned. And I'll call out maybe 2 or 3 things here. We have ClearScape Analytics with its model ops capabilities. And that capabilities give companies the ability to explain, report, and monitor their models and data set to look for changes. So it gives some sense of transparency there so that you know what's going on. It have the ability to store and integrate prompts, embedding, and other things to help with data lineage for generative AI use cases. Because if you have that data lineage, you know what data was used and so forth to give further transparency. And I want to mention our open and connected architecture again, because that is very important when trying to do trusted AI. With that particular capability, that gives companies ability to easily explore impactful use cases for Gen AI and LLMs. Bring your own language model gives them the capabilities and allows vector embeddings and in-database vector function, which is important when you're trying to do your Gen AI use cases. We have a lot of different capabilities and features that will allow you to do almost whatever use case that you need to do, because you can bring your own tools and the tool of your choice over to ClearScape Analytics to do what you need. And that is very crucial from a scalability standpoint. So that's some of the features and capabilities that we have, but we mentioned several throughout the call, all geared towards helping companies do trusted AI and to create value.
Thank you, Vedat and Steve, so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming on, and I'm sure our listeners do as well. And thank you to everyone listening. We hope you took a lot away from today's podcast. For further information on what we've talked about, of course, head over to teradata.com. We'll be back with another episode in our podcast series, including another one from Teradata and AWS. Until then, make sure that you subscribe to this podcast on all major platforms and follow the conversation on our socials at EM360 Tech and on X and LinkedIn. And for more great daily content, head over to em360tech.com. Take care, guys. Thanks.